Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Alright, ready?
Take it away, yep.
Where am I taking it to?
I don't know, space.
Hey guys, welcome to Timeout, the show that brings to you the perspectives of two men. And this week, we're hoping to bring to you 3 new topics that will entertain and inspire you. But before we get to that, don't you love having a beard?
I do. I do love having a beard. I never used to have one.
Well, I hope not.
Well,
Were you born with it?
not like you.
I
But am I Thor?
Where's my hammer? Actually, don't ask. I'm not showing it to you.
I was just about to make a comment about that too.
No, but really, you know what? In my job, I don't know how many times, I guess it's really hard to avoid it right now with the coronavirus, but man, I don't know how many times a day I'm just like sitting here
I do.
and playing with it. And like the longer it gets, like the more I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, sometimes I think my hands get tangled.
Do you ever just want to grow it super long?
Oh, I do. I don't
Like
think...
down? And I'm like, I don't know, because it gets so dirty.
Would you
looking.
braid it?
Well, I don't know. If I became a Viking, sure. Might as well shave a mohawk too.
I can't headbang with my hair anymore. Might as well headbang with my metal beard.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be at your point pretty soon.
You know the best part about having a beard though?
What?
You know sometimes like you eat a meal, let's say like pizza, and then later on in the day you're in deep concentration, you go, oh shit, I remember having pizza earlier today.
Leftover in the corner.
Leftovers.
I like having it because when I drink my 3% milk before bed at night,
3% milk.
hey man, it's full of vitamins.
Do you not like 2%?
No, it's
Is
full of
1%
vitamins.
not good
it's
enough
got
for you?
fats. Hey.
Hey, you know
fills
who
me
else
up
drinks
for a night.
3% milk? Your little
Babies.
baby.
Yeah, I drink the same milk as her. But
Whoa,
I can't help but look
isn't
in
she
the
still
mirror.
on the boob?
Oh, I am too. I can't help but look in the mirror every time I drink milk to look at the mustache. Should I leave it for the morning?
All right. Alcohol.
So, yeah, this week we're drinking Weiser's vanilla whiskey again, because if we spend the money on a new bottle of alcohol every week, well, we're cheap asses pretty much. So, this week we're drinking it straight because last week we mixed it, or sorry, I mixed it, and we were just a bunch of pussies about it. So, this week we're going to drink it straight, and to be honest with you, it is actually very
Delicious.
smooth. Yeah, it's very smooth. So it's on the rocks, and cheers.
For your glasses.
So I have to ask you something.
Absolutely.
Why is it okay for men to fart but not women? Like, what is your thoughts on this?
Why is it okay for men to fart, not women?
Yeah.
First of all, do women even fart? Because if you ask, most of them will say they don't fart.
I don't think they poo either. It's like their body just burns all the energy.
Did they wait for you to be out of the house to take a shit?
Man, I could clear.
Brennan's gone at 10:58 a.m. That's my time.
I could clear the whole house, the whole upstairs, and my wife tells me all the time, this is literally the only reason we fight, is because you fart, and this house reeks.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you and I fight because you read.
You're one to talk, Mr. Tent Clearer.
It's a story for another time.
But she could fart, and we're watching a movie, and I look at her in disgust, and I'm like, really? And it doesn't stink at all, but it's just, like, what is it?
See, I find it like even worse when it's silent but deadly. Because
Yeah.
as a man, you know, silent but deadly, you have a smirk on your face,
Yeah.
you're doing a Dutch oven,
Yeah.
but them, it's like they fart and it's like, I don't give a shit, I just farted, I'm moving on with my life.
Yeah.
Whereas a man, you're gonna make a joke about it.
Of course, man. You gotta linger in the moment to, like, enjoy it.
But do they not take it seriously?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
And then if you tell them that you're grossed out, that's where the fights happen.
Absolutely. Every time.
So my wife used to eat, oh, she'd get mad that I mentioned her. She used to eat mushroom protein. This protein powder that had like an assortment of mushrooms.
That-
And let me tell you,
that
the
sounds
stench
gross.
was atrocious. But I will say this one story that I woke up one night in amazement. I'm like, God damn, is that my fart? And I'm like, I enjoyed it. And then she wakes up and she says that's her. And I'm like, I just enjoyed your fart.
And you're like, how the hell are you on my level right now?
How are you on my level?
Like, wow.
I thought you and I were on our own level. She
Oh.
joined our level that one time.
Well, since you threw that in, for Jess, her weakness is broccoli. And And she's probably yelling at me right now because she can hear me upstairs.
So broccoli, is it a silent but deadly vegetable?
Well, apparently it makes them gassy, so
It cleans her out.
we'll go with that.
I gotta say, the craziest woman in my life for farts is my grandma. Before passing away, this woman, she was like 5'3", 5'2", big woman, and she used to rip, man. And I mean, legit.
Well,
my
if she's
brother and I
related to you,
my brother and I would be at the kitchen table, and she'd come walking up, and she'd just be like, "Schmee." And I mean, before you know it, we're checking our watches, be like, what the fuck is happening right now? How do you pop out a 20-second fart? She could have made the fart Olympics. Gold medalist.
well, there you go. You got trained very well.
Speaking of grandma, though, I mean, this woman was crazy. She would have been prepared for the post-apocalyptic era.
Yeah.
She had 2 closets. Not just one, but 2 closets filled with toilet paper and paper towel. And let me tell you, if you ran out of toilet paper in the bathroom and you went to take it from that load, she'd be like, do not touch that load.
Those perfect
I
for
got a
today.
spare in the upstairs. Those are for when the zombies attack. I swear to God. She didn't actually say
Holy
that, but I'm
jeez.
pretty sure she thought about it. But speaking of stacking up on toilet paper, what do you think about the coronavirus right now? I mean, let me just clarify what I'm talking about. So right now, in China, North Korea, they have little to no new cases. But Italy, Spain, Iran, the United States, they're ramping up victims, deaths, infections.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that here in Canada, we're doing enough to stop the spread, to prevent the spread?
No, I don't, because I'll put it to you this way. There are these essential workers that are still going to work.
How do they determine what an essential worker is?
I guess anybody that... You look at the list that was just released.
List is massive.
It's massive. So all those services are essential. To me, everything should be on an on-call basis. So if you need it, it's an on-call, or there's only 1 to 2 people there. There's not a full staff. Because now, if you have, say, half of your staff there and half of your staff at home, well, the staff that's still there is still infecting the area.
But see,
Technically speaking, right?
I'm thinking in terms of the economy. My belief why they haven't shut everything down yet is you're taking away the paychecks of how many thousands and thousands of people. Now, you're not just taking it away, but you have to compensate for it. And
Exactly.
if the government's compensating for that, think about how much money they're spending to not only fight the virus, find a cure, to provide EI for these individuals, but I mean to compensate. Is it worth it for them? Is that why they're trailing, shutting everything down?
I don't know, man. That's a tough subject for me because, like I said, my views go kind of both ways. But at the same time,
Take a stance.
Like I said, everything should be shut down. But whose pockets does it come out of? Ours.
If we shut everything down?
If we shut everything down, because if they don't shut down our taxes, if you're still paying the city taxes, your
So what is the
taxes go into
government doing to prevent the spread of the virus in terms of the economy? What are they shutting down and helping?
Well, they're shutting down places like restaurants and big places where everybody can group together.
Okay.
You know, gyms and things like that, swimming pools, malls.
What do you think is open right now that should still be closed?
Places like liquor stores, because
Are you sure about that one?
well, yes,
Does alcohol kill everything?
yeah, it's supposed to, but I know everybody's gonna hate me for that answer. But the liquor stores, you think about it, like the other day, somebody I know was saying they went to the liquor store, the lineups were wild, so there was obviously more than 50 people there.
Ooh.
Right? So if the lineups are through the aisles, how is that stopping the spread? If everybody's there, you don't know if somebody's infected there.
So what do you think the ultimate shutdown should be?
I think the ultimate shutdown should be, like, that list should be definitely swapped in half. Like, you should keep your pharmacies open, you know, like, even my vet is on call. Like, you're not allowed to go inside of the vet. So they have to come to the door and get your dog if you bring your dog there.
So how do you think China and North Korea did it? They had soldiers walking down the streets. Everything was shut down.
They forced everybody to stay inside.
Would that not be the better way to go to end this?
It would.
Think
for
about
sure.
once again the end potential. There's no new cases or little to no new cases, and at the end of the day, China's getting back to normal.
It would for sure. Obviously, like, it's a hard subject for me because I don't think, like I said, I don't think everything should be closed because of emergencies. But that's the only reason I'm thinking of it. But if you have soldiers walking in the streets, is there really any emergencies?
Okay, but
they can handle it.
Well, I mean, accidents can happen at home anytime.
Yeah.
And there's elderly, there's different kinds of people who are going through medical emergencies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if let's say you and I were to write the stipulations for ending this virus, would we close anything differently? Would we do anything differently? I personally, I know this is going to be a little bit pushing it, but give everybody 48 hours notice. You got 2 days, stock up as much as you can, which would probably create a chaotic situation. It would. But I mean, my wife works in a retail situation. She's telling me daily how chaotic it is anyway.
What if you did rations?
Who would provide rations?
The military. If they brought the military in.
Okay, so you're talking about over
Like,
33 million people getting rations.
Well,
Okay, then what about the United States with hundreds of millions?
not everybody
What about the rest of the world? I mean, to stop this thing, should the whole world be on lockdown?
Yeah, you're right. about
Okay,
that.
let's think about if you get infected and you go to China tomorrow. All that a month of lockdown is for nothing.
Mm-hmm. I hear you there. Yeah, you're right. That is why they've stopped most of the spread there.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the answer.
But Italy and China. Fuck, I fucked up.
Italy and Spain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you edit that out?
Oh, no.
Okay, well,
Now we're just rolling.
fuck. Well, whatever.
Yes.
Italy and Spain have China has had no new cases, right?
No. Italy has the most deaths.
Italy has the most deaths.
China has
No new cases.
Or little to no new cases, yes.
Okay, so China's obviously on a more successful front with this now,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely. If you look at the United States, their infection rates are climbing steadily,
yeah.
which means upward battle.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to China, they're on the downslope, which
Right.
means normality is like within reason.
Right. So now their definition of success is going to be a lot different than other countries now.
Absolutely.
So speaking of success, what is your definition of success? Like, what motivates you? What drives you in your life when you get up in the morning?
Easy answer is having 2 kids and debt.
Yeah.
In terms of success, I don't know. I think that depends on what facet of life you're talking about.
Right.
Success can be my kids showing manners, my kids achieving high in school, being decent at your job, working hard. In personal life, success to me is like achieving a higher standard.
Right.
Working hard. I think when you achieve something that you've set out to do. So for example, playing basketball.
Right.
I played for 20 years, never been able to shoot a 3-pointer in my life. All of a sudden, my one buddy corrects my shot.
Now you're sinking them.
All of a sudden, I'm raining threes.
Yeah.
At a very low clip. But I mean, at least I can hit the basket.
Exactly.
But the point is, setting this goal, something so easy as making a 3-point shot and achieving it, to me is a success. Going to the gym, working out, saying, hey, today I want to bench X amount of weight, and achieving that shows success.
Right.
In your career, I worked my butt off to get where my job is. I went through failures.
I watched you for years go through that.
Like through a window?
Yeah, I wish it was that. I'm just playing.
Webcam later? What is it for you?
Sorry, I had to get a sip of that smooth whiskey. For me, it's mostly the same thing. Obviously, I don't have 2 kids. I have a child. Sometimes it's as simple as getting out of bed and knowing, okay, I owe like everybody else. You owe, fucking they owe, the government owes, whatever. It's waking up and forcing yourself, fuck, I'm sore today. No, I gotta do this. I gotta go to work today. Or on your days off, I get lots of side work. And sometimes I get up in the morning and I'm saying to myself, I'm not doing this today. I'm gonna call the person. No, you're going. Too bad. There's just this little fire inside of me that wants to keep pushing, because I want there to be a day where I don't have to push as hard anymore. But is that day ever going to come? No, it's not. It's a day where you see in your head where you say to yourself, I'm going to be able to sit back and relax. You're not gonna.
Do you want that to happen?
I don't, because I'm always going to have a fire in me to keep pushing.
Yeah, I feel like that. I think that breeds complacency.
Mm-hmm.
So when you become content, then where's your fire? Where's your motivation?
Right.
When you're content to just do the bare minimum, what's the point?
A lot of people are.
And you need those kind of people.
You
There's
do.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But for those who have that fire, who have that extra motivation, you have to push.
Right.
You know, think about people who have achieved the highest degrees of success.
Yeah.
You know what I think about? My motivation is The Rock.
Yeah.
I know it sounds ridiculous. A celebrity
It
that
doesn't.
you'll never see in your life. But
Doesn't.
the guy, when you listen to him, he's the most
humble. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
The
humble.
guy's a multi-millionaire. But
And
he
he's
still
giving
takes,
advice on the daily.
and exactly. He still
Yeah.
takes time on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever,
Yeah.
to just say, hey, I'm alive, I'm working my butt off. And look at that guy. The guy's in his, what, 50s, would you say? 40s, 50s?
Yeah. Probably late 40s, isn't he?
I don't know, late 40s or 50s. And the guy's physique is amazing, but
Yeah,
he
he
eats
is.
amazing. He works
He is.
super hard. He doesn't take a day off.
Mm-hmm.
So that, to me, is like the highest degree of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, eat, and then go lift or
Mhm.
run? That's a super motivated
That's
person.
a machine, man.
That's right.
One of my biggest inspirations is his name's Andy Frisella. He has 2 podcasts. One's called Real AF, and the other one's called MFCEO. And he owns a huge supplement company. He owns multiple companies, but his big one is First Form in the States. And he literally started out with a supplement store, and people telling him he would tell stories of how he used to sleep in the back of his store on a piss stained mattress.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was in debt. I was 300 pounds. I was way overweight. He was just had all this shit going wrong. People telling him, hey man, you can't do it.
Yep.
When you gonna give that up? When you gonna go get a regular job? Now he's a multi-billionaire, and he's giving his advice on podcasts to people.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's all free. He doesn't do any ads, nothing in his podcast. All he wants is people to subscribe and share it.
Absolutely.
So if you get a chance, go watch that, because that's a big motivator for me. I listen to that shit and it just pumps me right up. I have one more question for you. How can you fail as a parent?
I feel like that's a tough question. I feel like I fail personally when I run out of patience.
Mm-hmm.
Or having 2 different perspectives on raising your kids, because men and women don't think alike, and you know it's one of the hardest things is to be on the same page as your spouse.
Right.
Maybe I go too hard on my one kid, maybe I'm too easy, but to have that line of communication is extremely important. How do I feel my kid? I don't know. I get out of bed every day and I work hard. I try to include them in absolutely everything I do.
So now, as kids, because I'm not gonna relate to my daughter because she's not grown up enough yet. But as a parent being you doing that stuff, your kids notice that. Like Carter, when he looks at you, he's gonna notice that. Charlie, when she looks at you, she's gonna notice that. They're old enough now to notice that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get out of bed and you're hurting, and even just being a parent for the day, like you're off right now. Who cares, man? Being a parent is still tough. You're putting in the long hours.
The hardest part about being a parent is it's not pick and choose your moment, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
So when your daughter or son's waking up in the middle of the night and you're exhausted, you're sick, you're sore, you're whatever, get up.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like getting up at 5:30 in the morning because they're up, get up. I remember when my daughter was, I don't know, in the first year, she was up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. To give my wife a break, I'd be the one getting up at 4 just to let her sleep. My wife was so much better with the baby than I was.
Yeah.
I had no patience in the middle of the night, so I'll give my wife kudos to being able to wake up in the middle of the night to do so.
Yeah.
'Cause let me tell you, I would wake up, and I'm sure you feel the same way, is that your daughter probably reacts a lot better to your wife than to you.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially in the middle of the night. When I wake up with her in the morning, she loves it.
Yeah.
She knows that's her daddy time. But
that's also wake up time. It's not like
Exactly.
wake up in the middle of the night.
I want to
and
get,
feed time, right?
and that's one thing I'm working on. Speaking of failure, because to me that's not failure. Like I don't get up a lot in the middle of the night because obviously I'm getting up at 3:45 for work. But on my days off, I could be doing that. And that's something that's in the back of my mind, and obviously I want to try and improve on that.
But I also think there's no perfection.
No, there
At
isn't.
the end of the day, you're still human. When you're tired, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll throw it on my iPad
Yeah.
for a half hour of sanity, especially during the coronavirus where I'm with them 24/7 while
Yeah.
my wife's at work. It's long days, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they fight with each other, they love each other, they hate each other, they throw punches at each other, and I'm just like, sometimes
They're kids.
they're kids, and I'm like, I don't have the patience. I'm like,
Yeah.
you in your corner, chill out.
Yeah.
But going back to motivation, I will say one of my biggest motivations and motivators is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? He's still pushing 60. He's an old man.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I call him old man all the time. And the guy still runs a retail store.
Yeah, that's insane. They put in some long hours with boys.
It's long hours, and it's obviously buried fruition for him now. But I mean, he's missed basketball games of mine. He's missed some of my childhood. But at the end of the day, his vision was to provide for his two kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I love about him the most is it didn't peak. His motivation didn't settle.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about it all the time. I said, Dad, do you ever lose motivation? Do you ever just want to say, fuck it, I don't want to go to work? He's like, never once in my life have I ever wanted to call in sick. Never once in my life have I ever not want to show up. And I was like, that's insane. You know what I mean? So
That's a true love. That's a true love for what they
passion,
do.
it's love, absolutely.
And I like hearing that because then it makes you wonder when you're in your search.
That's right.
Everybody's in their search. I'm in my search every day.
That's right. So at the end of the day, he always seeks better.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe not physically anymore, but I mean in terms of providing the best product possible.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do it. And you know what? I've been asking him a lot in the past 2 weeks with the coronavirus. I'm like, because it's affected his business quite drastically, and I was like, how are you still content? I talked to him and he's just happy. And he's like, you know what? You deal with it. You control what you can control, and what you can't control, you don't worry about it.
Exactly.
It's insane.
He's right.
And
Though.
it's a good model to live by.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before finishing up, guys, we have our top 5 of the week. Now, our top 5 this week is the top 5 craziest coronavirus events. I know we're kind of killing the coronavirus today. We promise you next episode will not have the coronavirus. It'll have SARS. Just kidding. So I want to go over the top 5 with you. You don't know them yet. So I just want to know your reaction. What do you think? This is not statistics in a sense, but it's more like what I found to be the top 5 craziest occurring things right now in the world. Something that you'd never think you'd see in our modern times. So number 1, in Spain, the soldiers are finding dead bodies in retirement homes. So retirement home workers have fled the scene in fear of getting the coronavirus. So these soldiers are going in and they find dead bodies in their beds, or people dying or having to fend for themselves. And it could be people with Alzheimer's, people who are already dying cancer, regardless. So how do you feel that it's almost like a forgotten community?
Mm-hmm. So with those people fleeing, how do you put a stop to that?
It's panic. And in Italy and Spain alone, when you have your death toll in the thousands, I'm sure the panic
It's
is
hard not to
pandemonium.
panic, yeah.
It's hard not to panic and isolate and probably board your windows, for God's sake.
But the thing is, these old people need help too, man. Because so say you're a nurse, you run away. How many lives are you leaving behind?
But then, is there enough help for nurses and doctors and anybody in the healthcare system? Those people are at risk all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to give kudos to those people who,
Definitely.
on a daily basis, are
Absolutely.
putting their lives at risk.
Yeah.
Number 2, kind of staying in the same vein, in Spain, they're actually using an ice rink as a temporary morgue because their death toll is climbing so drastically. How crazy is that?
It's insane. It kind of puts things into perspective. Well, you see things like that in movies, video games,
Absolutely.
and now it's real life.
It's real life.
It's
Who would have
messed up.
thought walking down the street has become an odd occurrence?
Yeah.
So I saw one of my old coworkers as I was shoveling the driveway the other day, and the first thought that came to my mind was not to say hello, but was, do I say hello or do I not?
Yeah,
What
that's
kind of world are we
strange
living in when
strange times right now?
you and I are 6 feet apart?
Yeah. Are we?
No, maybe, I don't know. Number 3, Donald Trump wants everything to go back to normal by Easter, which means he wants the economy to come back. So open up shop. Let's go.
So I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast with Michael Oster. Forgive me if I got the name wrong, but he's a disease
specialist?
Yeah, like
CDC?
infectious disease specialist,
Yeah.
and he's a virologist. And he was saying in early March that this thing's not going to go away until 6 to 7 months. He flat out said, listen, it's going to be here, but we got it. If we take the proper precautions, we can keep it
Under
where
control.
where it needs to be, under control. But the thing is, it's going to be here.
Yep.
No matter what we do. The only way to eliminate it is to keep control.
Yep.
6 to 7 months. So everybody who's getting their hopes up for April, like personally, just for my opinion, I think it's here till summer, but could be after summer. Who
Yep.
knows? We don't know. Everything's speculation right now.
Speaking of which, China has little to no new cases lately. Number 4.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just to reiterate, once again, it's all about control.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and number 5, my craziest find is the potential cure that was found in Australia.
I didn't do too much reading into that. I did have a couple of friends talk to me about it, but so how exactly did they find that cure anyways?
Apparently, they took treatments of malaria from decades ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they found it affected coronavirus patients. Now, in the readings I found, it actually got rid of the symptoms and the actual virus.
Oh, wow.
Now, apparently, the government has come out and said these doctors need to stop testing because it actually doesn't prove that it gets rid of it. Like the conspiracy theory behind it.
I won't get into that because I kind of think of
Too many conspiracies.
well, no, but I kind of believe a little bit into some of them
Yep.
because some of them make sense to me.
Hard
But
not to.
I mean, I don't know. The whole recession thing and everything just falls into place perfect right now.
Weird timing.
It all falls into place perfect. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, and everybody knows that I
Any
am.
more crazy?
So that's going to conclude our show for this week. We want to thank you guys for watching and supporting, and you guys did good with our first show. I'm sorry, I completely threw Darryl under the bus on that one, so I was hopefully a little better on this one. So if you guys could give it a like and share it and subscribe, and we're going to keep some more episodes coming out. We're going to try to constantly improve. So we thank you for watching.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
You ass.